I should speak in the chemistry building more often. So, my name is Stephen DeBacker. I'm the undergraduate program director for the math department at the University of Michigan. I think I know most of you guys. I don't know any of you. Hi. So there's a program, a very beautiful program that's been made. I'm just going to tell you how life is going to go. So I'm going to make some remarks, and then the Associate Chair for Education, Kristin Moore, will make some remarks. And then I think we're going to have our first student speaker, and then about a third of you will come forward, very carefully paying attention to how Kristin tells you to do it, okay? And you'll take, I'll shake your hand, I'll give you a prize, and then you go back to your seat, okay? About a third of you, and then we'll have another student speaker to break things up, and then another third of you, and then another student speaker, and then another third of you. Is that 3/3? Yeah, okay. And then at the end, the chair, Tony Block, will show up and say some words. He's at a different event right now. So if people come in late and you see them come in late, make sure that they know to get a piece of paper with their name on it. Yeah? Okay. So this program is very beautiful, and you'll notice that on the back it has this very nice puzzle. So if you get bored with the proceedings, you can work on this puzzle. This puzzle was done for you guys at the request of Sarah Cook. I guess I should be careful. Sarah didn't do it. She just requested it. The person who did it has an entire web page of such things, and her name oops, you probably can't see that. As Katrina Youre. And you can find everything about her puzzles. She's a high school teacher in England, and she makes these beautiful geometric puzzles. And you can find everything about her at twitter.com, CSHEARER41. Okay? So if you have your phone out and you solve this one, has everyone here solved it? No? Okay, you should work on it. It's beautiful. You can't graduate. Okay, so that's who did that. So this is our second annual commencement exercise. I guess maybe in the old days they used to have commencements, like when there was only 30 or 40 majors, but now there's, I guess this year there's going to be 180 majors in mathematics graduating. And so for a long time we just had a reception, and it wasn't very satisfying because you guys didn't get recognized for your hard work, and the food was just okay. So the food will be excellent this year, I'm sure. So, last year I said it was our first one, and so if anything went wrong, oh well. But this is our second year, so things had better go okay. So let's get started. So while math is useful, it's beautiful, it's elegant, it's also rigorous and concise and precise and logical, which makes it very, very difficult. Challenging, I guess is the word I prefer to use. So if Michigan did it correctly, then your journey over the last couple years with us has required many hours of practice and hard work, and maybe even some tears, but eventually probably some solid, productive, good work and learning. So I think everyone here should congratulate our graduating seniors for all the hard work they've done. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the support of family, parents, and friends, your support network on your journey. So let's have a round of applause for everyone that's not in the middle. And while we're thanking people, we should also thank the people who made this all possible, which includes Christina, and Molly, and Kelsey's way in back, and Anne, who's probably not. Yeah, she's with the graduate students. Okay. And before I go any further, I think this is the first class. So about 3 years ago, we started a project where we went out on Saturday mornings. I was just thinking, this is not on my script, so I don't know how this is going to go. Where we went out on Saturday mornings to work with students in the Wolverine Pathways program in Ypsilanti, Southfield, and Detroit. And I think I can recognize quite a few people here who have been who went out. We got up, like we met at Panera's at 7 in the morning on a Saturday, a football Saturday even. Yeah, you remember. and we wouldn't come back until 4 p.m. That's a long time for an undergraduate student to not sleep. And it was really wonderful working with those children. I think at least one of the speakers today will talk about some of that experience. And so thank you. Let's thank everyone. I'm not going to make them stand up and embarrass themselves, but quite a few people here were involved in this project, so thank you. So maybe, I'm talking now to you guys, some members of your support group would ask, math? Why math? And so Michigan's graduating class of 2019, here's some things that you're doing. So a few of you are going to graduate school in things like data science, biostatistics, math, economics, physics, scientific computation, which is somehow different from computational mathematics, cryptography, operations research, chemistry, statistics, and of course computer science. And you're doing that at places like Columbia, Duke, Harvard, MIT, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, University of Maryland, Michigan, UCLA, University of Chicago, Syracuse University, Princeton, Cambridge, Stanford, UT Austin, Duquesne University, Indiana University, Northwestern, and Wisconsin-Madison. That's pretty impressive, guys. Good. And probably many, many more of you are entering the professional world as actuaries, software engineers, investment bankers, quants, data scientists, business analysts, financial analysts, teachers, and people who dabble in the dark arts. Math is the major producer of people who work for NSA and stuff like that. At places like, it's true, at places like Aetna, Facebook, PricewaterhouseCoopers, sorry, they're no longer, I'm old, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Cigna, Capital One, Central Bank of Malaysia, Data Robot, Flow Traders, Ford, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Microsoft, UPS Capital, State Farm, BAE Systems, Ann Arbor Public School Systems, and an undisclosed location. That was self-reported. And others of you are going on adventures. Some of you are taking a gap year off to work on the self-driving car. At least one of you is taking the year off to work on self-driving cars up on North Campus. Some of you are working, two of you are working in biology labs, and maybe one of you, you're kind of on the fence, is going to go work for Teach for America. So you're doing all kinds of wonderful things. That's quite excellent, and now you can answer your parents about what good is it. So at this point, I actually want to return to something I mentioned earlier about what math is and the challenge of learning it. So in mathematics, there's plenty of content to master. You never finish, right? At some point, actually, you just kind of give up. And when you give up, depends on who you are. Yeah, there's too much. But you have mastered some things, so I'm going to tell you a couple jokes. Well, the first joke you could understand before you started, okay? Why was 6 afraid of 7? Yeah, because 7, 8, 9. Okay, now here's two. Good, okay. Now, and here are two jokes that illustrate that you actually learned something over the last 4 years. The first one is E, the x, and constant function are sitting in a bar, and constant function looks up and sees differential operator coming through the bar doors. Yeah. And he turns to E, the x, and he says, oh no, if differential operator meets me, I'm going to die, he just kills me every time. And E, the x says, yeah, I understand how that is. I don't really have that problem, but, good luck. And so constant function runs out the back door, and E, the x is feeling pretty cocky, and he goes bellies up to the bar where a differential operator is, and he says, hey, I'm E, the x. And differential operator looks at him and says, huh, I'm d by dy. Yeah? You'll have to explain that to your parents later. And here's another, here's my all-time favorite. What do you call an eigen sheep? An eigen sheep. A lamb, duh. See, you learned something. Good. Okay, so when you leave here, I'm pretty sure that for most of you, nobody is going to ask you to diagonalize a 2x2 matrix. I'm pretty sure that's true. That's what they have Wolfram Alpha for. And also, no one is going to ask you to classify the critical points for maps from R2 to R. That's also why we have Wolfram Alpha. But these are things that you actually learned how, to do while you're here. So why did you learn them, right? I mean, what's the point of learning these things, which you can just plug into Wolfram Alpha and get an answer? What is the point? So that's an excellent question. What's the point of going to college? That's another excellent question. And so I'm going to read to you a beautiful quote that came out last year at around this time from Cathy O'Neill. How many know who Cathy O'Neill is? Okay, it's good. Sarah knows who Cathy O'Neill is. So Cathy O'Neill is Math Babe. How many know who Math Babe is? Okay, good. 3 more people. So she wrote a book called, I can't remember, what's it called again? It's about the dangers of data science. Huh? Yeah, weapons of math destruction. And she has the blog, and she's always on Bloomberg and these kinds of things. So she's kind of famous, although none of you know who she is. So she wrote this beautiful thing about mathematics. She says, what I most love about math is how useful it is. Yes, of course, math is useful in engineering, building buildings, accounting, etc., but that's not what I mean. Math makes you smarter. It makes you a better problem solver. It makes you better at persevering and trying new ideas until you find a solution. It even makes you a better writer in your English or political science courses. Learning how to approach mathematical problems improves your logical and reasoning abilities. When one method doesn't work, you try another. You start to build up an arsenal of methods for approaching a difficult situation in any field. Mathematical thinking also requires that we be very precise and clear. This precision and clarity translates into better arguments in any paper or debate. I think that's pretty much what you're supposed to be in college for, and in particular in math. No one cares too much. I mean, even actuaries, right? If you were at the virtual career panel, after you get done, and according to those people who are at the virtual career panel, you don't actually use any of that stuff anymore, right? You're going on and on and on. You use it in the way that Cathy O'Neill talks about how you used it, right? You learned how to think, and that's what's important, okay? And hopefully you did that. So I'm going to close with one thing. So at that career panel, how many of you were there, the virtual career panel? Probably most of you weren't here this time around because you already have jobs, if that's what you're going to do. But there is a person there, Andre Schultz, who's probably more famous than anybody in this room. And again, you probably have no idea who Andre Schultz is, so look at his wiki page. He came to Michigan for swimming, actually, and got a math degree. And sometime during the panel, the students were all getting antsy, like, what am I going to do with my life? What's my career going to be, et cetera, et cetera. And Andre Schultz just kind of smiles out at the audience. He's in Texas someplace, and he says, don't worry, it's going to be fine. So, it's going to be fine. So I also serve as MC for this event. I'll try to think of some more jokes. I didn't prepare any. But our next speaker is going to be Kristin Moore.
All right, well, thank you, Stephen. Welcome to the second annual Mathematics Department Commencement Ceremony. My name is Kristin Moore. I'm the Associate Chair for Education in the Math Department, and I'm delighted to welcome you here today. Congratulations to the graduates and to your families for this outstanding achievement. You've graduated from a university that's renowned worldwide. University of Michigan has top-ranked programs, celebrated and decorated faculty, and incredibly bright and talented students. You have exciting options ahead of you. So some of you are going to continue on to graduate school. or to work directly in mathematics, where you may sometimes use specific course content that you encountered here at University of Michigan in your math classes. Others of you are going to go on to areas where you will never again encounter the content of, say, Math 412 or Math 451. Sometime down the road, epsilon, delta, and the difference between pointwise and uniform convergence will be a dim and distant memory, though that's hard to imagine. In the College of LSA's Mission and Tradition, we state that we deliver, quote, a purposeful, pragmatic liberal arts education that provides students with adaptable skills to solve problems in an era when new fields disappear as quickly as they emerge, end quote. As students of mathematics, you've learned to ask questions, formulate problems, solve them, and communicate solutions. You've learned to construct an argument that takes you from point A to point B in a series of logical and defensible steps based on what's already known, using no more and no less than is necessary. Whether your path takes you deeper into mathematics or far afield, this is extremely valuable training. Your analytical skills and ability to think as a mathematician will serve you and distinguish you from your peers in other fields, even if you never have to or get to prove another theorem. Congratulations, enjoy your celebration, and go blue.
Thank you, Kristin. So our first student speaker is going to be Amanda Birkhoff. So, are there 48 of you guys? Okay, so the United States every year gets to send, I think it's 48 or something like this. Yeah, okay. Marshall scholars over to study in England. And so this year the math department was extremely fortunate and actually got 2 of these things. So that's really rare. And Noah McNeil, where are you? Yep, he's our other one. Awesome. No, you can stay there. Yeah. So Amanda is, Noah, you can be first. Amanda will be the second one. And here she is giving a talk. Do you want to hold it or? Okay, there you go.
Each of us is here because we've either done a lot of math or somehow we've learned to love someone who does a lot of math. It is an honor to join you today. It has been truly marvelous to connect with all of you, my fellow students, and I thank you for your continuous friendship and constant support. It would be impossible for me to compact into just a few minutes what 4 years in this grand department has meant to me. But I can say with certainty that my time at the University of Michigan has left me feeling complete. I want to talk about a gift that every graduate here has been given, and the duty that comes along with it. Assuming no one here came this far simply because they have a masochistic hobby of diagonalizing matrices, I think it's safe to say that at some point, someone convinced you that mathematics is more than memorization and repetition. We are the lucky ones because someone came into our lives and intervened, telling us that math is worthwhile. This realization is the gift I speak of. We face a world where mathematics is often viewed as a dry subject, and many adults cannot justify their mathematical education. We've heard time and time again, why would you choose to do mathematics? Maybe some of your loved ones in the audience are still wondering, and if so, I invite you to interrogate your favorite graduate after the ceremony. I encourage us all to think back to the moments when someone changed your perception of mathematics. For me, there were 3 distinct realizations. In 7th grade, I learned that mathematics can be fun when a teacher handed me a textbook and told me to run with it. In high school, I learned that mathematics could be important when my calculus teacher took a day off from the AP material to teach us about voting strategies. But it wasn't until I reached the University of Michigan that I realized mathematics was worthwhile. You have all taught me that mathematics is hard, really hard, but that we can tackle that difficulty with the help of dedicated professors and encouraging friends. You've shown me that mathematics is playful, yet our abstract puzzles can miraculously yield solutions to real-world problems. You've enabled me to witness firsthand that mathematics is a language that can span cultures and centuries. We each have our own story of how we came to mathematics, but I'm sure that a common fiber between them is the role of passionate educators and a strong community. What stands out to me about this department is that the professors are fully committed to turning kids into mathematicians at all levels. Many of the professors and graduates seated here today, as Stephen mentioned, spend their spare time running programs for elementary through high school students, teaching them to see the creative side of mathematics. Actuarial, financial, applied, and pure mathematicians unite to travel across the state in an effort to stir curiosity and increase diversity in our field. During one of these trips, I witnessed the pure excitement of a middle school student discovering a pattern in the Platonic solids. "Whoa," she exclaimed, "how did this happen? Is God trying to tell me something through math?" Regardless of your beliefs on the origin of mathematics, I think we can all agree that this math-inspired awe is something worth sharing. So before we proceed on to the next step of our journey, I want to leave all of you with an exercise. I challenge you to convince at least one person that mathematics is worth doing. Each of us now has the chance to pass on the gift that we've been given, preferably with multiplicity. I think this is the best way to honor the family, friends, and professors who have spent countless hours empowering us to pursue our dreams. I fully expect that in this room there are people who will have the ears of CEOs, legislators, and other policymakers. You, having been let in on this little secret of math's importance, can affect the funding and structure of mathematical education. Many of you will go on to industry, where you can create technologies to ensure that mathematics will stay relevant in the next generation. Some of you will go on to be artists, doctors, and dancers, maybe in your spare time alongside doing mathematics, which will allow you to share the beauty of math in the most unexpected ways. And a number of us will become educators and researchers, following in the footsteps of the wonderful professors who brought us here. No matter what path we follow, I'm certain each of us can impact the world with what we've learned here. Congratulations to all of you, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Okay, so now we're going to begin the calling of names. I guess that's what we call it. So students, pay attention to Christina.
Okay. William Warner. Amanda Birkhoff. Eric Dale Windsor. Connor Davis. Roe Orszak. Max Kontorovich. Robert Weinbaum. Tally Hyen. Benjamin Johnsrud. Robert McGovern. Ji Hao Ko. Jonathan Thomas. Oh my. Tiago Echeverria Saliba. Jeffrey O. Kendra Robbins. Allie Young. Rachel Yee. Zhang Li. Zhenfei Yu. Eileen Kokolakota. Eric Longos. Mosh Carrera, sorry. Piriakorn Piriwatamong. Yi Lu.
And now we take an interlude. So next speaker is Eric Windsor, who is probably most famous in the department for never wearing pants. Is that true? It can be minus 30 or whatever the heck that day was, and he'll show up in shorts. Yeah. Anyway, take these, take the next bit with that grain of salt. Okay.
I hate math. You might be surprised to hear it, but I'm not alone. 110 million Americans agree with me, according to an Ipsos poll. That's 4 in 10 adults. For comparison, 138 million Americans voted in the 2016 presidential election. If all of us math-hating Americans were to band together, we could enact legislation to abolish math from public school curricula. We could remove math from public discourse, and we could eradicate it from all of society. Now, you're laughing at this hypothetical disaster. My argument seems more like empty divisive rhetoric than the presentation of a serious threat. After all, the math-hating population has no singular agenda. It's not a monolith, and we can never perfectly unite to strike math down across the country. As math majors, we have the ability to analyze and criticize arguments, even if they use numbers and statistics. We don't have to blindly accept them. When someone tells us that 110 million Americans form a majority of American voters, we can think twice about the implications of this and the validity of this statement. The skill is by no means unique to math majors, but it is hard to come by. While the rest of the world is racing to acquire it, the US is falling behind. Behind countries such as Vietnam, Estonia, and Spain, our teenagers rank 27th in mathematical literacy. That's right, we're not even in the top 10% of countries in the world. You might say we just need to reform our education system. We have tried that over and over. But every time we try, the attempts are gutted by local and state governments through disorganization, a lack of funding, and even active resistance. We like to blame bad teachers for our mathematical shortcomings. We're convinced that adding more metrics and standardized tests will fix the problem, but the problem with math in the US runs much deeper than our education system. The anti-math movement has been in our collective cultural conscience for decades. A mathematician by the name of John Allen Paulos once wrote a book titled Innumeracy to describe this phenomenon. Appropriately, innumeracy sounds like illiteracy, and like illiteracy in, say, English, innumeracy is illiteracy in the language of mathematics. But unlike illiteracy, people with innumeracy have a curious tendency to proudly declare it and embrace it, even receiving approval from others. It is tragic that Americans today are happily rejecting the most powerful and universal language ever invented by humans, one which has been discovered, developed, and utilized by cultures across thousands of years. All the while, mathematics is becoming increasingly central to our economy as well as domestic and foreign policy. We are rejecting math in the time that we need it most. How do so many people come to hate math, and is there any hope? Well, let me tell you about Ben. Ben grew up in a moderately sized town. His school system was not particularly bad, but it lacked strength in math and science. He had a few bad experiences with math classes, so he didn't particularly like math. His friends and family didn't like math either, so he was fine dismissing it. He did well enough in school and went on to college. There, he gritted his teeth through calculus classes and waited for the day he would never have to use any of this stuff ever again. He became a computer science and engineering graduate student here at the University of Michigan. One day, he told me about his research on optimizing data analysis of social networks. While studying these networks, he learned that they had a certain hierarchical, almost fractal structure to them, with the same repeating patterns on large and small scales. I pointed out that these hierarchical structures could be beautifully modeled with linear algebra terms, such as Kronecker product and tensor power. He was so inspired to understand these fascinating patterns that he restarted his study of linear algebra, which he had abandoned in his undergraduate program. I'm sure that Ben's initial experiences with math resonate with many people. What changed his story was the discovery of something in math that he found truly interesting and relevant to him. All of his negative experiences were outweighed by this one discovery that he found genuinely interesting. Today, we are surrounded by people who haven't had that moment of discovery yet, whether we are working a STEM job, creating art, or getting lunch with friends. Why should we, math graduates, care? Come on, I even said I hate math, right? I have to apologize because I didn't really mean it when I said I hate math. If I'm up late, or if I get a bad score on an exam, it's easy to say I hate math to express that frustration. I know a lot of you out here have done exactly the same thing. If I'm upset at toxicity or exclusivity or elitism in the community, I can express it as I hate math. As fellow math majors, we understand each other when we say I hate math. But when someone else hears us say that, they hear something different. They hear an indictment of math as a whole, a justification for their own disliking of math, a reason to not engage with math, a reason to push it out of society. And that reason is justified by our standing as math graduates. After all, we've spent years studying math, so if we hate it, it must be a bad subject. Like it or not, we are now ambassadors for all of mathematics. It is our responsibility to spread our knowledge and love for math to others. Whether we are teaching children, doing research, working in finance, organizing a charity, or writing a book, we are representing math to the world. That doesn't mean we can't be frustrated when math is difficult. It doesn't mean we can't see problems in the math community. It doesn't mean we have to force math on others. Rather, we should attempt to show others the power and beauty of math and inspire curiosity in them. We should do what we can to provide high-quality math education to those who do not have access to it by providing funding, political support, social support, or even volunteering. We should work to make the math community welcoming and supportive of people who are excluded from it. Most importantly, we should avoid reinforcing negative attitudes about math, especially around children. So next time you're frustrated, remember that you are math's best and only friend. Avoid saying things that could be interpreted as being against math as a whole. Be specific. Say, gee, that test was difficult, or I wish the community were more inclusive, or this deadline is freaking me out. Remember what inspired you to study math in the first place, whether it was patterns in nature, quantum physics, a computer game, a love of problem solving, or even a dog that understands calculus. Take that inspiration and spread it wherever you go. Write books, give lectures, teach classes, talk to friends and family, and change the world. Shout from the rooftops, I love math.
Okay, our next round of graduates. Brianna Staggers. Zhu Tingyi. Mengxi Wang. Xiliang Gao. Jenny Lee. Brett Nelson.
Excuse me, I'm very sorry.
Seconds off.
They're both, it's on.
Spencer Paulison. Charlotte Lewis. Melissa George. Rihanna Henney. Hannah Ali. Michael Peterson. Kelsey Talby. Alexander Finsterwald. Evan Fisher. Bennett Sakalaris. Benjamin Williams. Celia Vanden Bogert. Yutzi Zhou. Timothy Cha. Anna Rakovich. Noah McNeil. Joshua Handler. Jack Steinberg. William Kleinenberg. Noman Bet Atkan. Thomas Rothwell. Kristen Mealy. Carly Burwell. And Nina Vafa.
So the last student speaker today is Connor Davis. So I was surprised recently. I was out having supper with Connor, and everyone knew him because he works in comedy clubs. Remember that.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. Can you hear me? Okay. This weekend, we graduate with bright futures lying ahead of us, thanks to years of hard work, support of friends and family, and years of espresso royale small Americanos. I firmly believe that Michigan Math is one of the best departments in terms of caring for their students. So on behalf of us grads, thank you. Michigan Math spoiled me to the point where I became indignant when other departments wouldn't just let me take a course without prereqs, practice creative combinatorics for completing my degree, or literally live in their common spaces. The man behind these curtains is Stephen DeBacker, who, besides brutally introducing me to mathematics and Math 295 and instilling an irrational love of the number 37, he let me sit in on last semester's courses for free after I graduated in December, telling me that I could pay the out-of-state tuition forward by keeping Michigan Math in mind later when I would be rich many years from now. I still don't know whether to be flattered because he thinks I'll be rich or insulted because apparently he doesn't think I'll cut it in academia. I'd like to give a special shout out to those inspiring mathematicians in the department who taught me complex analysis, Professors Sarah Koch, David Barrett, Daniel Burns, Lee Jen G, with a special thank you to Sarah for introducing me to the fractal full field of complex dynamics, which I plan to study for the years to come. These analysts taught me a fundamental theorem, which remains fundamental also in life. Always know your roots. For us, though our paths may diverge far into the branches of industry, academia, or if the missive is to be believed, high-stakes Vegas betting and international espionage, our route will always be this wonderful department. And we have accomplished a great much in these halls. We have pulled uncountably many all-nighters. We have proved many a theorem and hand-waved even more. We have snuck into enough tea times to officially get banned. And most importantly, we have made many special friendships to last us the lifetime to come. Perhaps this is indicative of a larger fact about mathematics, which is easy to forget among sleepless nights and dispassionate algorithms. Mathematics is about people. To make progress is to advance our understanding, and to remain grounded to our community is to ensure that the next generation is capable in problem solving. It is the unfortunate fact of time's steady march that we can make no more friends from college. Yet, I can't imagine a better cohort to have shared the last 4 years with. Except for maybe a cohort who understood what it meant to shower daily. Yeah. I almost became a physics major because of that. Yeah, like, no. Of course, there could be no complete set of thank yous which does not mention the parents. It is due to your support that many of us are privileged enough to study math, and to your installation of a special sort of masochism that we'd even want to. I understand that from the outside, what a mathematician does is often impenetrably opaque. So I'd like to take this opportunity to fill you in on what your graduating seniors do. First, there's the mathematics of finance and risk management. Financial math deals chiefly with uncertainty and random algorithms. This means they don't know when the economy will collapse, but they do know they will profit from it. Actuarial mathematics is the foundation of the modern insurance industry, and you might have known that actuaries belong often to one or several societies. With so many societies, you might be wondering, are there any actuarial secret societies? Of course, the answer is also yes, because to me they are all secret, in that I could not name a single one of them. Next, there is the mathematical sciences. And given that almost everything practical for math in the world has come from an applied mathematician, it's ironic that these gainfully employed individuals haven't realized how much more practical it is on rent to move back in with your parents. Mom, Dad, unconvert the workout room, I'm coming home. I think we have some secondary mathematics teachers in the house, and in lieu of a joke, I figured that I would say thank you, thank you, thank you, because your future students may not be so forthright. Don't be discouraged, however, for if they are anything like me, they will be appreciative all the same. And that leaves us with pure mathematicians. And I can think of no better way of elucidating what a pure mathematician does than by the analogy to thinking of cohomology as a functor from sheaves on abelian groups on a topological space to abelian groups at large. Indeed, in the wake of the Riemann-Roch... Okay, I feel like you guys maybe aren't following. Okay, no, that's fine. We can improvise. Quick show of hands. Who knows what a long exact sequence is? Okay. No, this is fine. We can improvise. So no de Rham cohomology then? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So think of a donut, okay? You know, like Dunkin' Donuts. And doing math is that donut, and doing math is then just your garden variety Weierstrass projection function onto the complex sphere, and then you're counting those branch points. Okay? Okay. To conclude, many of you may be surprised to find a math major able to speak so eloquently and make such consistently strong eye contact. But don't be too surprised, for I was also a philosophy major. And as such, we might conclude by waxing philosophical. Though today is one of life's few large milestones, I think that each of us will not be defined by any huge gesture, but instead by the many invisible decisions we make throughout the day. So remember above all else to be kind, naively generous, and eternally patient, most of all with yourself. Graduating as we have done is no small feat, no matter how talented the cynics, imposters, or lambasts we may be. So congratulations on your day, class of 2019, and party hard tonight!
Okay, our last round of graduates. Daniel Kaiser. Ryan Capulet. Jonathan Jacobs. Ethan Curtis. Ka-Jun Lim. Zhendong Chen. Taylor Graffa. Charles Thompson. Yuan Shi. Trey Austin. Sai Mohan. Mohak Saxena. Juhu Shah. Haonan Lee. Zhangyi Zhao. Hao Wang. Shuhan Ko. Naichang Liu. Yichen Dong. Navanil Banik. Apalete Hongbo. Derek van de Bovenkamp. Haiyang Huang. Yingxi Zhan. Yinlan Shou. Amo Daruvai. Zhenbo Zhang. Alexander Zhaweizhu. Arun Chandrasekhar. Upamanyu Sharma. Michael Rosenberg. Michelle Rapari. El Hussein Shamsa. Allison Elgis. Yi Zhou. Shiwei Hu. Gregory Reskind. Adam Aslan. Chin Gu. And Walid Al-Rawi.
So if we could give our graduates a big round of applause. And I realized there that I'm actually going to lose two of my ping pong partners. So if there's any younger undergraduates, I'm going to need somebody to play with next year. Okay, so the final person who gets to address you today is my boss, Chair Tony Block.
Well, thank you, Stephen. So I just want to echo the applause and to say what a wonderful honor it is to be here in front of you today. And I have to say it's also hard to follow those wonderful speeches. I mean, first of all, Stephen's, but also Amanda, Eric, Connor. That was really wonderful and super eloquent. So, yeah. So as Connor said, I think it's pretty, one always thinks of mathematicians as being extremely shy and not eloquent, but you showed us that mathematicians can really talk to people and say all the right things. So, so that was all very impressive. Anyway, so I want to congratulate all of you. I think it's a wonderful thing to have a math degree. I think, math is a wonderful thing in many ways. I mean, first of all, it's somewhere between an art and a science. It's a beautiful thing all by itself. So that's a nice thing, and you'll always have it with you. But also it's something that's useful. As many people have said, it's a way of understanding the world, of being applied to all sorts of jobs. It's a way of, everywhere you go, there's some mathematics. If you look up there at the periodic table, for example, you might wonder why it looks exactly as it does. And of course, there's mathematics behind it. There's mathematics behind almost everything in the world, and that's one of the wonderful things about it. I mean, my first introduction, I guess, was through physics. I loved physics growing up and astronomy, and I grew to love mathematics, and that's one way to see it. But of course, mathematics is applied all over the place, in medicine, for example, in artificial intelligence. Everyone talks about that. Well, artificial intelligence really is nothing more than matrices or moving matrices and gradient flows and those derivatives we've heard about. So it's really everywhere, and it's a really wonderful thing. Again, I'd like to thank all of you for being a part of our lives. I want to say, one thing, it's a wonderful thing to learn mathematics. It's also a wonderful thing to teach mathematics, and I think all of us appreciate the opportunity to teach people, because one of the things I guess you'll learn, if you haven't learned it already, is the way to really learn something is to teach it. So having you around and the opportunity to teach you is a wonderful thing for us too, and one learns more. And I'd like to say also thanks to all the staff here at the university who've made this possible, Stephen and Kristin and all the people, the other faculty who are here, for making the undergraduate experience possible for you, all the staff, Christina and Molly and others. So it's all been a great pleasure for us. So in closing, I just want to say that I hope you continue to use the mathematics that you've learned. I hope you'll come back and visit us, and I hope you have a great rest of your life, and beginning with the summer, and I think the sun should be out tomorrow. So congratulations. All right.
And there's a reception which you should go to because it has excellent desserts. It's in the math atrium, which I assume you all know where that is.